you! Have you ever had to stretch out before games, practices, or any other baseball activities? Do you ever get sick of it because, oh, coach, I feel completely fine? Well, if you're a younger player, your answer was probably yes to that, and if you're an older player, you probably answered otherwise. Now, to my younger players who have that kind of mindset, I've got a 3-word piece of advice for you. Deal with it. Why? Because stretching is done to protect you. Even though your bodies are definitely more flexible than before you reach adulthood, getting into the habit of stretching can be really important when you start to peak and grow. Just ask your parents or anybody who's playing baseball that's my age how that's going for them. Now, before I show you the stretches that I would recommend from my 10 plus years of experience playing ball, I think it's important to note that there is no one-size-fits-all set of stretches. Every player is different. One muscle might be sore, so you have to focus on that one, and some stretches might work on some players and some might not on others. You know, there's a lot of factors. Anyways, let's get started, and this place is not really a good spot to show you guys. Let's change the location. Just give me 1 second. All right, now that we're in a better location, since I've got space here, I know it's not a baseball field, but hey, you work with what you got, right? So, what I like to start with, I like to do arm circles. So you start slow, you do this for about 5 to 10 seconds. This is more of a blood flow thing, so blood flow gets through your arms, and then slowly but surely you go outwards. And then this is where it gets a little fun because you can fling them as fast as you can like a plane propeller. But you just want to keep it slow like this, but keep it for 5 to 10 seconds. Now, next you've got, I don't know what it's called, I'll put something on the screen that shows what it is, but basically you do this, you take your arm like that, and then you stick this arm over here, and then you pull it back this way. What it does is it stretches out the shoulder. That's important because it's the base of your whole arm. You need it for throwing regardless of each arm, and you need it for balance even on the non-throwing arm. So you do 5 to 10 seconds there. We like to do 10 preferably, at least from my experience, and then you do the other side too, like this. Next is what my teammates like to call the SpongeBob, but what you basically do is this. This is more of a back stretch, so you're getting this part right here. I don't know what it's called. I'll have to look into it later, but you take the arm up like this elbow, and then you use your other arm to pull it. If you can pull too much, then grab lower on tricep, and you do that. And then you do the same thing for the other side. Okay, next is goalposts. So you put your arms up like a goalpost, and then you fling them back and forth like this. This is another blood flow one, so you can start even, that's what I would do, and then go like that. This is another shoulder thing, and then you got the wrist stretch. So there's 2 things I do here. Start up, or you do up and down. So when you go up, you stick out one arm, and then you use the other arm to pull back the fingertips. What that does is it stretches out this part of the wrist right here, and then do it again downwards to either get I think you get a slightly different spot, I'm not sure. And then of course you do the same thing for the other side. Now let's get on the ground, shall we? What I start with, or what you can't start with, is the butterfly. This one is particularly important because it stretches the groin area, and while that may sound funny, it's actually quite important. It might be a small muscle that's right about there, but it basically holds up your whole leg. If it goes sore, your whole leg goes out. That's my experience. So you try and pull your legs in further like this, and then you want to push down on your knees here because that is what stretches out the main groin area. There's a couple others stretches that stretch out the groin, which actually, if you see athletes do this, that's what it does. And by changing your hips here, you can get different parts of the muscle. So we're gonna do a different stretch. This one, almost, every athlete does this. It's touch your toes. So it's kind of self-explanatory. You have to try and touch your toes. I'm not sure if I can. So that's one variation of it. It's your upper calf and your hamstring is what it's trying to get. Now you could do it standing up too, doing the same thing, but if you want a slight variation of it, you can cross your legs like this. What this does is it stretches out the hamstring of the back leg here. So if I did this, I'd feel it more back here, and same thing goes like this here. I'd feel it in this leg. So, it's relaxing down here. So what I'm doing is a hurdler laying down. This is another groin stretch-ish. It also goes into part of the thigh here. And it's pretty relaxing. You just have to do this, and likewise with the other side. Those freeze frames are gonna look so weird. How are they looking on your end?
Pretty good.
All right. My good coworker Aaron Zagarba is behind the camera. He's got a YouTube channel of his own. You should check it out. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put it on the screen. Okay, actually, I thought I had another stretch, but we're gonna scrap it. So now let's go to the wall. Okay, so rest of the stretches we're gonna do on the wall here. There's plenty more that I'm not gonna show you in this video, but let's start with the leg swing. You can lean your back slightly forward. Make sure this leg is straight, the one that's gonna be static. You take this leg and you literally swing it back and forth. You'll feel this on the end of the swing. Feel it part in your glute here, but mostly you're going there. And then you do the same thing with the other side. Next one, it's a calf stretch, so you basically do this. Make sure your toes are perfectly aligned with the wall. And then you use your, you rotate here at your hips to make sure that you're getting your calves. Fun story, or funny story, I guess. My teammates and I used to call this stretch moving Trump's wall back in 2018. And this next one is probably every little leaguer's favorite, is the flamingo. You can do this up against the wall because the point of this one is to stretch this part of the thigh here. So you do it like that. The key here is you want to pull back here, but if you want to do it as a balancing stretch, that's fine because you need a lot of balance for baseball to do anything. And trying to compete with your teammates to see who can balance the most is kind of fun. And as always, do the other side. Here's the other glute stretch I was talking about. Put your back against the wall and pick up your knee and pull it towards you. Like the other groin stretch I showed you earlier, you can move this around. That way you'll get certain parts of the glute. And same thing with the other side. This next one's another calf. It's simpler than this. All you gotta do is stick your foot down. Here, you can zoom in on that. Stick your toe on the wall and keep the heel on the ground, and you have to use your upper body to push it in to stretch it out. If it's not hard enough for you, put the heel closer to the wall, and then try and put your upper body closer to the wall, and then you'll feel the stretch. And then likewise, do the same for the other side. And one more. This is optional. If your part of your shoulder feeling tight, you can stretch out your full arm, put the hand up against the wall, and then turn your body this way. Actually, that's not the shoulder. That's more like here now that I'm feeling it. But yeah, that's another one. And then like so. So you might not understand how paramount this can be right now, but trust me, if you get into the habit of doing at least some of those stretches, your experience playing ball will be a lot better in the future. Now, you should recognize that there are way more stretches out there that you can do that I did not show in this class. If you want to know what those are, Google them, look them up right here on YouTube somewhere else, but those are just the ones that I would recommend from my 12 and a half years of experience playing ball. And like I said at the beginning of the class, there's no one-size-fits-all set of stretches. If you want to do something else that suits you better, go for it. Now, if you have any complaints or comments or thoughts, questions whatsoever, drop them in the comment section below. And if you like this, leave a like and share it with your family, friends, and teammates. And if you want to come back for the next class, go down below, hit the red subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you'll be early. And one last thing, if you've been on YouTube, if you've been on the internet, if you've been on this device for long enough, please shut it down, get off of it, and do something else, all right? That's teacher's orders, okay? And with that, class is dismissed. Well, if your answer was yes to that, no, if you're a younger player, your answer was probably yes to that. Okay, hold on. You might not understand how paramount these are, but trust me, if you get into the habit, and now recognize that there are way more stretches that you can do than what I showed you in this, Woo! Yeah!